Everyone knows Jeffrey Epstein died in a jail cell, but what they found in his files makes his death look like the least shocking part of this story. How did a billionaire pedophile manage to document his own crimes in 3 million pages? And why are the most powerful people in America terrified of what you might read? If you want deep dives into stories that powerful people don't want told, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's go back to where this nightmare began. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't born into money. He came from a working-class family in Brooklyn, born in 1953. His mother worked as a school aide. His father tended gardens for New York City's Parks Department. The kid showed talent for math, skipped 2 grades, got into college but never finished his degree. At 21, he was teaching physics and calculus at an elite Manhattan private school called Dalton. Former students remember him differently than other teachers. He'd walk the halls wearing a fur coat, gold chains, an open shirt showing his chest. He'd show up at student parties. He flirted with teenage girls as young as 14. No allegations of abuse from that time ever surfaced publicly, but the behavior was noted. It was strange, it was inappropriate, and somehow it worked for him. What Epstein understood early was the value of proximity to wealth. At Dalton, he befriended the parent of one of his students, who introduced him to Ace Greenberg at Bear Stearns, one of Wall Street's biggest investment banks. Epstein lied on his application, claiming degrees from universities he never attended. When the lie was discovered, he admitted it openly, said he knew nobody would give him a chance without impressive credentials. They hired him anyway. By 1980, at age 27, he was a junior partner pulling in $200,000 a year, worth nearly $1 million in today's money. He also got caught, spent $10,000 of company funds on jewelry for his girlfriend, loaned $15,000 to a friend, violated brokerage regulations. The firm offered him a deal: take a fine, step away for 2 months. Epstein got offended and quit entirely. His real break came through his girlfriend at the time, Paula Hale, a former Miss Indianapolis. She introduced him to Douglas Leese, a British defense contractor, which opened doors to British elite circles. Eventually, Epstein's web reached all the way to the royal family. But the relationship that truly launched his fortune was with Les Wexner, the billionaire behind brands like Limited and Victoria's Secret. Wexner gave Epstein total control over his finances, complete access, the kind of trust that doesn't make sense unless there's more to the story. Soon, Epstein owned a massive estate in Palm Beach, near Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago, a ranch in New Mexico, a townhouse in Manhattan, and a private island in the Caribbean called Little St. James. He posed as a talent scout for Victoria's Secret, using the promise of modeling careers to lure young women into vulnerable positions where he controlled their futures. Police in Palm Beach, Florida started getting calls about Epstein's house in 2004. Witnesses reported young teenage girls coming and going. One woman came forward in 2005. Her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been sexually abused by a wealthy man. The girl told police a friend named Haley promised her good money for giving massages. At Epstein's mansion, a man with graying hair who called himself Jeff told her to strip to her underwear. What started as a massage turned into assault. She identified Jeffrey Epstein. Police investigated. They found dozens of victims. Teenage girls, many from poor families, some homeless, some from troubled backgrounds. Epstein didn't recruit them himself. He had the girls do it for him. Each one brought more, paid per referral. A pyramid scheme built on children. Detectives interviewed victim after victim. Each one named 3 or 4 more. The investigation kept expanding. Most of the girls were around 16. One recruiter, Haley Robson, once brought Epstein a 23-year-old woman. He got angry, said she was too old. Police searched Epstein's mansion. They found appointment books matching victim timelines, photos of naked people throughout the house, a massage table right where victims described it. But computer hard drives were missing. Someone had warned him. The local prosecutor, Barry Krischer, could have charged Epstein with serious felonies: sex with minors, lewd and lascivious acts on a child. Instead, he filed one minor charge related to soliciting prostitution from a single girl. No mention that she was underage. No mention of dozens of victims. Epstein faced maybe 2 years. The police chief was furious. He handed the case to the FBI. Then something stranger happened. In 2008, federal prosecutor Alexander Acosta offered Epstein a deal so lenient it became infamous. 13 months in county jail, where Epstein got work release 6 days a week and spent his nights in a private wing with his own security guard. The deal also granted immunity to all named and unnamed co-conspirators. Victims weren't told about the agreement until after it was signed, which violated federal law. Acosta later admitted that during negotiations, he was told Epstein belonged to intelligence, to back off. Years later, when Acosta became Trump's labor secretary, reporters asked about the deal. He resigned shortly after. For over a decade, Epstein lived freely. Then, in July 2019, federal prosecutors in New York arrested him on new charges: sex trafficking of minors. This time, there would be no deal. Epstein was held in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. On August 10, 2019, guards found him dead in his cell. Official cause? Suicide by hanging. The guards on duty had fallen asleep. Security cameras malfunctioned. His cellmate had been transferred out the day before. An autopsy found injuries more consistent with strangulation than hanging, according to a forensic pathologist hired by Epstein's brother. The Bureau of Prisons called it suicide. Half of America didn't believe them. Epstein's death should have ended the story. Instead, it ignited something bigger. People wanted answers. They wanted to know who else was involved. Courts began unsealing documents from civil cases filed by victims. In January 2024, the first batch of files became public, revealing names of associates, flight logs from Epstein's private jet, witness depositions. But that was just the beginning. On January 30th, 2026, the United States Department of Justice released the largest tranche yet: 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images, emails, diary entries, witness statements, FBI interview notes, photographs from searches of Epstein's properties. The files came in 12 massive archives, uploaded to a public website. Anyone with internet access could download them. The scale was staggering. Nobody could read it all, not in weeks, maybe not in months. Journalists searched by name, pulling out fragments, trying to piece together what happened. Some documents were heavily redacted, black bars covering names and details. Some files disappeared from the site hours after being posted, then reappeared later. The chaos itself told a story. Someone didn't want all of this public. What did the files contain? Photos from FBI raids of Epstein's homes, his New York penthouse, his Florida mansion, his private island, room after room of luxury, with disturbing details. Massage tables, photographs of naked bodies lining the walls. In the emails, you could see Epstein's network at work, messages to associates, travel arrangements, casual references to bringing women to events. Court filings detailed victim testimony, police interview transcripts. And then there were the allegations against some of the most powerful men in the world. Donald Trump's name appeared in the files thousands of times. Many references were mundane: news articles forwarded by Epstein that mentioned Trump, scheduling notes, old gossip. But buried among the banality were allegations that couldn't be ignored. One document contained a summary of witness statements compiled by FBI agents. The file was briefly removed from the Department of Justice website, then restored. In it, a woman described events at a Trump golf club in California in the mid-90s. She said she was 16 years old. According to her statement, Ghislaine Maxwell organized sex parties for clients including Epstein and Trump. She claimed she participated in orgies at the club, that some girls disappeared afterward. Rumors spread, she said, that missing girls were murdered and buried on the golf course. The woman reported that Trump's head of security threatened her. If she ever spoke about what happened or who she saw, she'd end up as fertilizer on the back 9 holes, just like the other girls. Another witness described parties Trump allegedly held at Mar-a-Lago, his Florida estate, events the witness called calendar girl parties. According to this account, Epstein brought children, and Trump auctioned them off. The witness claimed Trump measured the children's genitals with his finger, assessing them by tightness. Guests allegedly included Elon Musk and Trump's own children. The witness stated she was 13 when Donald Trump raped her. Ghislaine Maxwell was present, the account claimed. These allegations are horrifying. They're also unverified. The FBI noted in the same documents that agents found the accounts not credible. One witness had been flagged after police requested psychiatric evaluations during 3 separate incidents. Another witness was anonymous, left no contact information, couldn't be followed up with. The Department of Justice issued a statement making clear that some documents contained false and sensational claims submitted to the FBI shortly before the 2020 election. The statement emphasized these accusations were baseless, but the fact that they appeared in an official archive, that Trump's name surfaced in this context at all, became a media firestorm. Other entries in the files were less sensational, but more concrete. Emails showed Epstein and Trump were friends for years. Photos from the 90s showed them together at parties. In one message, Epstein seemed surprised Trump's name hadn't come up during police investigations. Why would he be surprised? Unless he expected it to. In another exchange, Epstein's brother joked about whether Putin had photos of Trump doing something to Bubba, slang that appeared elsewhere in Epstein's emails as a nickname for Bill Clinton. Users online made memes. Trump had just named a major legislative package the Big, Beautiful Bill. People joked that he meant Bill Clinton. The email was more likely a joke referencing the Russia scandal from 2018, but context gets lost when 3 million pages drop at once. Then there was Bill Gates. An email surfaced in which Epstein allegedly told someone Gates was secretly giving his wife antibiotics after having unprotected sex with Russian women, trying to prevent her from discovering his affairs through sexually transmitted infections. Gates denied this vehemently. His spokesperson called it completely false. But the allegations spread anyway, another name dragged into the mess, another reputation questioned. Gates had admitted to meeting Epstein multiple times, said it was a mistake in judgment, claimed he thought Epstein's connections could help with philanthropy. The email, if real, suggested something far less innocent. Elon Musk appeared too. One message showed Musk asking Epstein which Saturday evening party on Epstein's island would be the wildest. Musk quickly responded to the file release on social media, insisting he never set foot on Epstein's island, never attended any parties despite asking. He claimed he fought harder than anyone for full transparency in releasing the files, accused the media of trying to smear him. Ironic, some noted, since the files contained his own message, expressing interest in attending. Musk's strategy became clear. Deny everything, pivot to attacking others, claim the whole thing is a partisan hit job. This approach would become a pattern. Bill Clinton's name came up constantly. Victims claimed they saw him on Epstein's island. Flight logs showed Clinton took multiple trips on Epstein's private plane, nicknamed the Lolita Express. But Epstein himself, in messages to a reporter, insisted Clinton was never on the island, that witnesses could easily confirm it. Of course, Epstein had every reason to lie, to protect powerful friends, to create leverage. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers, said in a deposition she saw Clinton on the island. Epstein said she was lying. He mocked her in the same message. The only person she hasn't claimed to have been forced to have sex with is Bilbo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. Maybe that'll be in the sequel. Clinton denied ever visiting the island. He admitted flying on Epstein's plane for charitable work, said the trips were years ago, always with staff and Secret Service present. But the files raised questions. Why did Epstein spend so much energy defending Clinton if they barely knew each other? Why were there so many references in victim testimony? In early 2026, both Bill and Hillary Clinton initially refused to testify before Congress about their relationship with Epstein. Then, days later, they reversed course, said they'd cooperate. The reversal came after public pressure intensified. People wanted answers. Howard Lutnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary, appeared in the files too. Emails from 2012 showed Lutnick and his family planning to have lunch on Epstein's island. A follow-up message from Epstein, Good to see you." This contradicted Lutnick's prior claims that he cut off all contact with Epstein in 2005 after seeing his true nature. Lutnick denied wrongdoing, but the timeline didn't match his story. Steve Bannon, Trump's former chief strategist, had an extensive correspondence with Epstein in 2019, months before Epstein's arrest. They discussed politics, possible meetings, joint projects. Bannon had apparently pitched a documentary idea to rehabilitate Epstein's public image. In one message, Epstein wrote something like, "Now you understand why Trump wakes up in the middle of the night when he hears we're friends." The meaning wasn't entirely clear. Was it a joke? A threat? Evidence of some deeper connection? Context collapsed under the weight of speculation. And yet, for all the names, all the allegations, all the emails, a bigger question loomed. If so many powerful people knew Epstein, spent time with him, exchanged messages with him, attended his events, took his money, flew on his plane, visited his properties, why was Ghislaine Maxwell the only person ever convicted? The files documented a network. They showed recruiters, enablers, fixers, participants. So where were the prosecutions? Where was the accountability? Why did this feel like the beginning of something when it should have been the end? But that was only scratching the surface of what investigators found. The machinery behind Epstein's operation, the systematic recruitment of victims from around the world, the names of those who helped him, and the chilling evidence from the victims themselves, all of that was about to get much darker. The files revealed something most people didn't fully understand about Epstein's operation. This wasn't one man acting alone. It was a coordinated international recruitment network with scouts, handlers, and logistics that moved victims across borders like cargo. The emails laid it bare. Jean-Luc Brunel ran a modeling agency. He had connections throughout the fashion world, legitimate on the surface. Behind that facade, he worked as Epstein's primary supplier. An FBI memo described him plainly, a scout and recruiter of girls and women for Jeffrey Epstein. Brunel worked with a man named Daniel Siad, who traveled the globe searching for what they called talent. The files contained their agreement. Epstein would pay Siad 3,000 euros per month for scouting over a 6-month period. For every model they signed, Siad got 5% of her earnings. It was written out like a sports contract. Brunel and Siad weren't just finding models, they were finding victims. Many of the girls came from poor countries, from families with nothing. Brunel promised them good money, careers in America, visas to the United States. He told them they'd be models. What actually happened was different. According to court documents, Brunel obtained US passports for young girls under the pretense of modeling work, then delivered them directly to Epstein. Brunel died in a French prison in 2022, while facing charges related to human trafficking and rape of minors. Official cause? Suicide by hanging, just like Epstein. The pattern was unmistakable. The people who knew too much kept dying in their cells. Daniel Siad, meanwhile, operated freely. The emails showed the system in detail. Siad would send photos to Epstein, full body shots, passport copies, details about the girls' backgrounds. In one exchange, Siad sent a photo. Epstein replied, "She looks very thin." Siad responded, "I'll take a Polaroid." Epstein asked for a copy of her passport, then added, "How many tickets do you want for Woody?" meaning Woody Allen. Siad said 2. Epstein asked for a full-length photo if possible, then commented, "She doesn't look very happy." They discussed her body in detail. Then Epstein wrote, "I sent a request. Does she want to come to Paris on Sunday?" Siad replied, "I'll invite her to come." This wasn't a one-time transaction. The pattern repeated across hundreds of emails. Siad would identify a woman, send her photo, provide passport information. Epstein would arrange travel. In another message, Siad described a girl as very nice, easy to talk to, dreaming of working in the United States, currently modeling in Dubai. Epstein asked her age. Siad said 22 or 23, admitted he forgot to ask, added that she looked younger. He had her phone number if Epstein wanted to call. She'd send photos that evening. It happened over and over. A Thai actress, a woman from Eastern Europe, young girls from South America. Epstein complained when one wanted to meet at a restaurant. "I don't do that in New York." He grumbled when another didn't respond. Unpleasant. These women thought they were pursuing opportunities. They wanted visas, careers, escape from poverty. What they got was a network designed to exploit them. And despite all the evidence in the files, despite emails documenting the recruitment pipeline, despite Brunel's arrest and death, Daniel Siad faced no charges. The FBI claimed they lacked evidence to investigate unnamed third parties. How could they lack evidence when the emails were right there, uploaded to a government website for anyone to read? The answer was clear. They didn't want to investigate. But the recruitment emails weren't the worst thing in the files. The diaries were worse, much worse. Epstein's victims kept journals, some voluntarily, some because Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell told them to. The diaries appeared in the files as scanned images, handwritten entries from teenage girls documenting their captivity in real time. The words were devastating. One girl wrote about feeling controlled. "Everything is controlled by Jeffrey, constantly wanting to run away from it all and go to New Mexico. What the hell? This makes no sense. What about school? Now he controls absolutely everything. Previously, Ghislaine did this, and she sometimes hates me." Another entry described the psychological trap. After being shunned by her church and effectively rejected by her family, she didn't feel she had any real alternatives to staying with Epstein. Even if she did, she believed Epstein genuinely cared about her, despite the ongoing abuse. Prosecutors noted this traumatic understanding of her relationship with her abuser matched accounts from other victims in similar positions. It's a common pattern in cases of long-term exploitation. The victim becomes dependent, isolated, convinced the abuser is their only option. Epstein was skilled at creating this dependence. He offered money, gifts, travel, opportunities. He presented himself as a benefactor, someone who could change their lives. For girls from poverty, from broken homes, from situations with no clear future, his promises carried weight. By the time they understood the cost, they were trapped. He controlled their finances, their housing, their connections. Leaving meant losing everything, returning to nothing. Some victims described feeling like they owed him. He'd paid for things, given them experiences they never could have afforded. The debt felt real, even though the entire setup was designed to create exactly that feeling. Then there were the pregnancies. One diary contained ultrasound photos taped to the pages. The entries around those images were almost unreadable in their grief. The girl wrote, "My heart belonged to her. She was so incredibly beautiful. She was perfect. I can't make myself right about what happened. I'm broken beyond what words can describe. I only had 10 to 15 minutes to hold her and feed her before they took her away. She's mine. I want her back." The implication was sickening. Epstein had impregnated this girl. She gave birth, then someone took the baby. Court documents suggested this happened to more than one victim. In another file, a diary fragment showed an uncensored name and birth date next to an ultrasound image. Context indicated the events occurred in 2001 or 2002, when the victim was 16 years old. The Department of Justice quickly removed that document from their website after people noticed the privacy violation. Too late. The information was already copied and spread. The victim, now an adult, would almost certainly sue the government for exposing her identity. American taxpayers would pay the settlement, likely hundreds of thousands of dollars, because someone at the DOJ failed to properly redact evidence of a forced teenage pregnancy. Emails confirmed Epstein had at least one child. In 2011, someone wrote to him, "You've been missing. I didn't know you had a little son." The sender's name was redacted, but given the context and phrasing, people speculated it was Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, married to Prince Andrew. In the same message, she complained that Epstein only needed her to get access to Andrew, implying their friendship was transactional. Another message from the same sender referenced the Duke, a common way to refer to Prince Andrew in their correspondence. "I heard from the Duke that you had a baby boy. Even though you don't stay in touch, I'm still here with love, friendship, and congratulations on your little one." She signed it, Sarah. So Epstein had a child, possibly children, likely with victims who were teenagers when they became pregnant. And nobody faced charges for this. Nobody was prosecuted for facilitating it, for hiding it, for taking the babies away. The files documented crimes, and the government's response was to redact names and claim insufficient evidence. The political consequences, meanwhile, played out unevenly. In Britain, Prince Andrew lost his military titles and royal patronages. He couldn't use the title His Royal Highness in official capacity anymore. Stripped of status, exiled from public life, all because of his association with Epstein and allegations from Virginia Giuffre. No criminal charges, but social consequences at least. In Slovakia, a national security advisor resigned after his name appeared in Epstein's contacts. But in America, almost nothing happened. Congress had tried to force transparency. A bill called the Epstein Files Transparency Act required the Department of Justice to release all materials within 30 days of signing. For months, Republicans blocked it, needed votes. Democrats were unanimous. 4 Republicans broke ranks, but they were 1 vote short. Then a Democratic representative won a special election. That single vote tipped the balance. Trump's administration fought hard against it. FBI Director Kash Patel met with congressmen trying to convince them to vote no. When reporters asked why the White House opposed transparency, the press secretary claimed these meetings proved transparency, that administration officials were willing to brief Congress any time. The logic collapsed under scrutiny. Eventually, Trump realized the bill would pass. He reversed position completely, told Republicans to vote yes. The bill passed almost unanimously. He signed it. But 30 days later, the Justice Department released only a fraction of the files. They cited exceptions in the law, protecting victim identities, excluding child pornography, withholding information that would compromise ongoing federal investigations. That last part was the loophole. Attorney General Pam Bondi, Trump's former impeachment lawyer, announced new investigations into Democrats. Convenient timing. If investigations are ongoing, files can stay sealed. Critics called it obstruction. The administration called it law enforcement. About 2.5 million pages remained hidden. Howard Lutnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary, had been caught in a lie. He claimed he severed contact with Epstein in 2005. The emails showed he visited Epstein's island in 2012, 7 years later. Lutnick denied wrongdoing, said it was just a lunch, insisted he didn't know about Epstein's crimes at the time. He kept his job. No resignation, no consequences. Steve Bannon's messages with Epstein showed friendly rapport, discussions of documentary projects to clean up Epstein's image, jokes about mutual acquaintances. Bannon claimed he was just gathering information, trying to understand Epstein's network for journalistic purposes. Convenient excuse. No consequences for him either. Then there were the coded conversations, the language of plausible deniability. Woody Allen emailed Epstein about a payment. He joked, "I don't want to be one of your women, or rather, girls," then added, "I'll be much more expensive than your girls. You can't afford me." Epstein replied, "Yes, the price would be too high." Woody responded, "This will be a beautiful friendship." Epstein wrote back, "As long as I follow orders," smiley face emoji. Woody sent another message. Epstein asked what he said. Woody's reply, "You're kidding? I can't write that. I mean, it's more dirty or, in a manner, classic misdirection. Joke about the thing you're actually doing. Make it absurd, so if anyone accuses you, you can say it was obviously sarcasm. No evidence, right? Just locker room talk between friends." In another exchange, someone asked Epstein about Paris with Woody. The person mentioned something about a convention. Epstein replied, "I think it's plural. Plural. Not one girl, multiple." Again, written as a joke, easy to deny, impossible to prosecute. But the pattern was there, repeated across hundreds of messages. Everyone spoke in euphemisms. Everyone maintained deniability, and it worked. The files contained thousands of these exchanges, casual references that seemed innocent on the surface, but carried darker implications when you understood the context. Discussions of travel arrangements that didn't specify who was traveling or why. Mentions of gifts without saying what they were or who received them. Requests for contact information, passport copies, photos, all framed as business transactions. The language was deliberately vague, designed to create distance between the words on the page and the actions they facilitated. Legal teams had probably coached them. Never put anything explicit in writing. Keep it ambiguous. Make everything deniable. It was calculated, systematic, and completely transparent once you saw enough examples. Peter Thiel, the billionaire tech investor, appeared in messages too. The context was damning. In July 2017, Thiel's wife called him while he was in New York. Their infant child was in an ambulance, a medical emergency. Thiel wrote about it later in his memoir, described how he stayed in New York instead of rushing home because he was busy with important work. He expressed shame about the decision, said thinking about it made him sick. What he didn't mention in the memoir was that 2 days after his wife's call, he was coordinating a meeting with Jeffrey Epstein. The emails showed it clearly. Epstein asked what time. Thiel responded, "Of course, 9:30. Then added, "I can come earlier. Also, if you have a hard stop at 10, let me know." While his family dealt with a medical crisis in San Diego, Thiel was scheduling breakfast with a known sex offender. The important work he couldn't abandon? Apparently, that included Epstein. And still, no consequences. Thiel remained a major political donor, an influential voice in tech, a billionaire with power and access. The revelation barely registered as a scandal. A day or two of online criticism, then nothing. The machine moved on. Throughout the files, names were redacted. Black bars covered identities, protecting people who maybe didn't deserve protection. An old draft indictment from 2005 showed multiple defendants listed alongside Epstein. Their names were blacked out. The FBI had identified 10 co-conspirators they were actively investigating. None were ever charged. Ghislaine Maxwell was the only person convicted of helping Epstein, and she got 20 years. But the files made clear she wasn't the only one. Recruiters, enablers, participants, all of them documented, many of them identified by name in various sections of the files, and none of them prosecuted. When journalists asked the FBI if they planned to pursue anyone else, the answer was consistent. We have no evidence to support new investigations. Hanging out with Epstein isn't a crime. Emailing Epstein isn't a crime. Even attending his parties isn't a crime. Technically true, but also clearly a dodge. If hanging out isn't a crime, then why did Ghislaine Maxwell get 20 years? She hung out with Epstein too. The difference was she facilitated, recruited, enabled, and the files showed others doing exactly the same things. Elon Musk described the strategy perfectly when he responded to the file drop on social media. He predicted the plan from what he called far-left propagandists and legacy media. Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter-accusations. He claimed he never went to Epstein's island, never attended parties, despite his own email asking which Saturday would be the wildest party. His approach became the template. Deny, deflect, accuse someone else. And it worked, because nobody faced real scrutiny. The files exposed a system where wealth and power create immunity, not legal immunity, though Epstein got that too with his 2008 plea deal. Social immunity. The kind where your name appears in documents describing recruitment networks, forced pregnancies, coded discussions about girls, and nothing happens. You release a statement. Your lawyers call it a witch hunt. You point to someone else in the files and say they're the real problem. Then you go back to your life. Bill Gates met with Epstein multiple times after Epstein's conviction. Gates said it was a mistake, claimed he thought Epstein could help with philanthropy. His wife divorced him, reportedly in part because of the Epstein connection. But Gates remains a billionaire philanthropist, welcomed in elite circles, his reputation bruised but intact. Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane dozens of times. He admitted some trips, denied others, finally agreed to testify before Congress only after immense public pressure. No charges, no real accountability. Donald Trump's name appeared thousands of times in the files. Some mentions were neutral. Some were allegations of serious crimes, all of them unproven in court. He's president again. The files came out, the media covered it for a week, and then the news cycle moved on. This is what the Epstein files really revealed. Not a single conspiracy, not a neat list of criminals to arrest. They revealed a class of people who operate above consequence. They showed how wealth creates networks of protection, how powerful people cover for each other, how institutions tasked with justice choose not to pursue it when the targets are too connected. Epstein didn't act alone. Everyone knew that. The files proved it. 3 million pages of proof. And yet, Ghislaine Maxwell sits in prison. Epstein is dead, and everyone else walked away. The victims are still waiting for justice. Some got financial settlements, money from Epstein's estate, supervised by a victims' compensation fund. Money helps, but it's not justice. Justice would mean prosecutions. It would mean people in power losing that power when they abuse it. It would mean recruiters and enablers and participants facing the same consequences as Epstein and Maxwell. Instead, we got files. Evidence without action. Transparency without accountability. Jeffrey Epstein built an empire on the abuse of children. He documented it, photographed it, wrote about it in emails, kept records of everything. He died before facing full judgment. The people who helped him are still out there. Some are in government. Some run companies. Some give TED Talks and appear on magazine covers and donate to charity and get invited to Davos. The files named them. The files showed what they did, what they knew, what they ignored, and nothing happened. That's the real story, not the conspiracy theories, not the speculation about secret cabals. The truth is simpler and somehow worse. Power protects power, always has. The Epstein files just made it impossible to deny. If this story matters to you, if you think powerful people should face consequences when they hurt the vulnerable, hit that subscribe button. The only way these stories keep getting told is if enough people demand it. Until next time.